Indiana, Pennsylvania, May 20th, 1908. Small town, hardware store family, ordinary beginning for extraordinary man. James Maitland Stewart entered world with no indication he would become Hollywood legend. No sign he would win Academy Award. No hint he would become Brigadier General. No clue he would fly bombing missions over Nazi Germany. He was just Jimmy, store owner's son. But this small town boy would show America what true heroism looked like. Not just on movie screens, but in real life, where courage costs everything and heroism demands sacrifice. This is episode 1, The Beginning. The boy who became star before war, before darkness, before everything changed. This is Jimmy Stewart. Indiana, Pennsylvania was typical American small town. Population 8,000, Main Street, hardware store, churches, schools, families who knew each other for generations. Stewart family owned J.M. Stewart and Company hardware store. 3 floors. Everything from nails to farm equipment established 1853. Family business passed down through generations. Solid, reliable, American. Alexander Stewart ran the store, Jimmy's father, stern man, Presbyterian values, hard work, honesty, service. He served in Spanish-American War, believed in duty, believed in country, believed men should serve when called. These values he passed to his son, not through speeches, through example, through quiet expectation, through way he lived his life. Elizabeth Stewart was Jimmy's mother, warm, musical, played piano, sang, brought arts into hardware store family, balanced father's sternness with gentleness, encouraged creativity, supported dreams, made home where boy could imagine beyond small town, where possibilities existed, where dreaming was not weakness but gift. Jimmy was eldest of 3 children, 2 younger sisters, responsible one, quiet one, thoughtful one. He was not loudest boy in town, not most athletic, not most popular, but something about him drew people. Sincerity maybe, honesty, genuine quality that could not be faked. People trusted him, liked him, wanted to be around him. Even as child, this quality existed. He was lanky, tall for his age, thin, awkward physically, not natural athlete, not coordinated, but determined. When he set mind to something, he finished it. Played football in high school, not because he was good, because team needed players. He sat on bench mostly, but showed up, practiced, contributed. That was Jimmy Stewart, doing what needed to be done. Music fascinated him. Mother's influence. He learned accordion. Strange instrument for small town boy, but Jimmy loved it. Practiced constantly, got good, very good, won competitions, played at local events, hardware store owner's son playing accordion at church socials and town gatherings. People smiled, clapped, remembered. School came naturally, smart without trying, curious about everything, read voraciously, asked questions. Teachers liked him, not teacher's pet. Too genuine for that. Just earnest student who wanted to learn, who respected education, who understood knowledge mattered. Graduated high school with honors. But what came next was question. Hardware store waited. Family business needed air. That was expectation. That was plan. But Jimmy Stewart had different dream. Dream that would take him far from hardware store, far from Indiana, Pennsylvania, far from everything familiar. 1928. Jimmy enrolled at Princeton University, New Jersey, Ivy League, world away from small town Pennsylvania. Father wanted him to study engineering. Practical degree, useful, could apply to business, could help with hardware store. Jimmy agreed, sort of. He enrolled in architecture program, close enough to engineering, far enough to be different. Compromise between duty and desire. Princeton was revelation. Suddenly, Jimmy was surrounded by brilliant minds, wealthy families, East Coast elite, boys who summered in Europe, boys who spoke multiple languages, boys whose futures were guaranteed by family connections. Jimmy was hardware store owner's son, paid tuition through scholarships and family sacrifice, worked part-time jobs, managed every penny, but never felt inferior, never felt less than. His authenticity was armor. His sincerity was strength. Princeton boys could spot fake from a mile away. Jimmy Stewart was real. They respected that. Architecture classes were fine. Jimmy was competent, completed assignments, passed exams, but something was missing. Spark was not there. Passion was absent. He was going through motions, fulfilling obligation, but not living. Not excited, not alive, until he discovered something unexpected, something that would change everything. Princeton Triangle Club, student theater group, comedy shows, musical productions. Jimmy's roommate was involved, invited Jimmy to help build sets, architecture skills useful for stage construction. Jimmy agreed, just helping, just supporting friend, just building scenery, but being in theater, watching rehearsals, seeing performances, something clicked, something ignited, something woke up inside him. The stage fascinated him. Transformation fascinated him. Way actors became different people. Way stories moved audiences. Way theater created magic from nothing. He started attending every rehearsal, every performance, volunteering for everything, building sets, moving props, painting backdrops, anything to be near theater, to be part of magic, to understand how it worked. Then accident happened. Actor got sick. Show in 2 days. No understudy. Desperate situation. Jimmy had been watching rehearsals, knew the lines. Someone suggested he fill in just this once, just emergency. Jimmy protested. He was not actor, was just set builder. But they convinced him, begged him. Show must go on. Jimmy agreed. Reluctantly, nervously, terrified, opening night. Jimmy walked on stage. Lights hit him. Audience waited. Terror seized him. Then something happened. He spoke. Lines came naturally. Movement felt right. Character lived through him. Audience laughed, applauded, responded. Jimmy felt alive. More alive than ever before. This was it. This was what he was supposed to do. Not architecture, not hardware store, theater, acting, performing. This. After that night, Jimmy Stewart was changed. He had found calling. But calling was not practical, was not sensible, was not what father expected. 1932. Jimmy graduated Princeton, architecture degree, respectable education, time to return home, take place in hardware store, fulfill family expectations, be responsible son. That was plan. That was agreement. But Jimmy made different choice. Choice that took courage. Choice that disappointed father. Choice that risked everything. He moved to New York City to become actor. New York in 1932 was brutal. Great Depression, unemployment massive, breadlines, poverty, desperation. Millions struggled to survive. And Jimmy Stewart was trying to become actor? Seemed insane. Seemed selfish. Seemed impossible. But Jimmy believed, had to try, had to know, could not spend life wondering what if. He shared tiny apartment with Princeton friends, Joshua Logan, other aspiring theater people. Apartment was barely habitable, no heat, leaky roof, shared bathroom down hall. They pooled money for rent, for food. Sometimes there was not enough for both. They chose rent, stayed in theater world, stayed pursuing dream. Hunger was temporary, giving up was permanent. Jimmy auditioned constantly for everything, plays, musicals, any role, any show. Got rejected constantly, too tall, too thin, too awkward, voice too distinctive. Not leading man material, not character actor type. Too something, not enough something else. Every rejection hurt, every dismissal stung. But Jimmy kept trying, kept auditioning, kept believing. Money ran out repeatedly. Jimmy took jobs, any jobs, waiter, dishwasher, accordion player in speakeasies, played accordion at parties, at clubs, anywhere someone would pay. Hardware store son entertaining wealthy New Yorkers with accordion, surreal, humbling, necessary. He sent cheerful letters home, told parents everything was fine, career was promising, success was coming. Lied to spare them worry, lied to maintain their hope, lied because truth would break their hearts. Then breakthrough. Small role, summer stock theater, Cape Cod, barely paid anything, but it was acting, professional acting. People bought tickets, Jimmy performed, did well, got noticed. Directors remembered him. Casting agents saw potential. More roles came, small roles, supporting roles, nothing glamorous, nothing leading man, but working, acting, learning, improving, building career one small part at a time. Joshua Logan directed some shows, cast Jimmy. They worked well together. Logan saw something in Jimmy, authenticity, naturalness, quality that could not be taught. Jimmy was not best technical actor, did not have classical training, did not have stage presence or commanding voice, but he had truth. When Jimmy spoke, lines audiences believed him. Believed character, believed story. That quality was rare, that quality was valuable. Broadway came next, 1934. Actual Broadway role, not lead, but credited part. In play that mattered, critics attended, audiences came, Jimmy performed, got mentioned in reviews positively, not raves, but acknowledgement. New York Times mentioned him, called him promising, called him natural, used his name. Jimmy Stewart was becoming known. Slowly, gradually, step by step. Dream was becoming real. Then Hollywood called, and everything accelerated. 1935. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer talent scouts saw Jimmy in Broadway show. Saw quality camera would love. Authentic, relatable. Different from typical Hollywood leading man, not classically handsome, not smooth, not polished, but real. Scout offered screen test. Jimmy was skeptical. Movies seemed impossible, theater was his world, but Scout insisted, just test, see what happens, no commitment. Jimmy agreed, screen test in New York, simple scene. Jimmy performed. Camera caught something. That natural quality, that authenticity, that truth. Hollywood saw it. MGM offered contract. 7-year contract. $100 per week. Seemed like fortune to starving theater actor, seemed like dream, seemed impossible to refuse. But Jimmy hesitated. Loved theater, loved New York, loved live audience. Movies felt fake, felt manufactured, felt wrong somehow. Friends convinced him, try it. If hates, it can return to theater. Contract was opportunity most actors never get. Broadway would wait. Dream would wait. Hollywood might not offer twice. Jimmy signed contract, packed belongings, said goodbye to New York, boarded train for California, hardware store owner's son heading to Hollywood. Father was confused, movies seemed frivolous, undignified, not real work. But Jimmy went anyway, had to see, had to try, had to know. Hollywood in 1935 was dream factory, literally. Studios created fantasies, sold glamour, manufactured stars. Everyone was beautiful, everyone was perfect, everyone fit mold. Then Jimmy Stewart arrived, tall, gangly, awkward, voice that cracked, aw shucks demeanor, middle America personified. Studio executives were puzzled. Why did talent scouts sign this guy? He was not Hollywood material, not leading man, not anything obvious, but contract was contract. They had to try. First films were forgettable, small roles, brief appearances, nothing special. Jimmy was learning medium, learning camera, learning film acting, which was completely different from stage. On stage, everything was larger, voice projected, movements exaggerated. On camera, everything was smaller, more subtle, more intimate. Camera saw everything, saw truth, saw lies. Jimmy learned to trust camera, to be natural, to just be. Camera loved him for it. 1937, breakthrough role, navy blue and gold, college football film, supporting role, but significant screen time. Jimmy played earnest athlete. Role suited him perfectly. Critics noticed, audience noticed, studio noticed. Maybe this Stewart kid had something, maybe he could work, maybe he was not mistake. More roles came. Better roles, bigger parts, still not lead, but moving up, getting noticed, building career. Then 1938, role that changed everything. Vivacious lady, romantic comedy with Ginger Rogers. Jimmy played male lead, shy professor, falls for nightclub singer, classic Hollywood premise. But Jimmy made it work, made it believable, made it charming. His awkwardness was asset, his sincerity was strength. Audiences loved him. Critics praised him. Studio realized they had star. Not typical star, but star nonetheless. Someone special, someone unique, someone Hollywood had not seen before. 1939 would be the year Jimmy Stewart became household name. The year he proved he was not just good actor, but great actor. But first came film that almost did not get made. Frank Capra was already legendary director. It happened one night. Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, Masters of American Cinema. Capra saw something in Jimmy Stewart, saw everyman quality, saw decency, saw what made America believe in itself. Capra was developing new film, political drama, idealistic senator fights corruption. Studios were nervous, too political, too controversial, might offend people. Capra did not care. Story mattered. Truth mattered. He wanted Jimmy Stewart for a lead role. Studio resisted. Jimmy was not big enough star, not bankable enough, not proven leading man. Capra insisted. This role needed authenticity, needed sincerity, needed someone audience would believe, would trust, would root for. Jimmy Stewart was only actor who could do it. Studio reluctantly agreed, gave Capra his way, gave Jimmy his chance. Biggest role of his career. Everything depended on this film. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Jimmy played Jefferson Smith. Scout leader appointed to Senate, idealistic, naive, believes in democracy, believes in America, discovers corruption, fights back, gets destroyed by political machine, nearly gives up, then finds courage, stands alone, filibusters for 23 hours, exhausts himself, collapses, but wins, not through power, through truth, through decency, through refusing to surrender. Role was physically demanding. Filibuster scene required Jimmy to talk for hours, voice getting hoarser, body getting weaker, character exhausting himself. Jimmy exhausted himself, made it real, made it hurt, made audience feel every second. Capra filmed it brutally. Long takes, no breaks. Jimmy performed until he nearly collapsed, until voice was shredded, until body was spent, was not acting, was enduring, was surviving. Camera captured everything. Film released October 1939. Response was overwhelming. Critics raved, called Jimmy's performance career-defining, called him revelation, called him American hero. Audiences wept, cheered, stood up. Film became cultural phenomenon, not just entertainment, statement, about democracy, about decency, about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Jimmy Stewart embodied all of it, was not playing role, was being role, was Jefferson Smith, was every man who refuses to quit, was American ideal made flesh. Oscar nomination came, Best Actor, Jimmy Stewart competing against Clark Gable, Laurence Olivier, Mickey Rooney, giants, legends. Jimmy was nominated. That itself was victory. That itself was vindication. Academy Awards ceremony was months away, but nomination meant something. Meant Hollywood recognized him, respected him, saw him as equal to greatest actors of generation. Hardware store owner's son from Indiana, Pennsylvania was Oscar nominee. Father was proud. Mother cried. Jimmy was humbled. But 1940 would bring even bigger triumph, and decision that would change Jimmy Stewart forever. 1940 started with more success. Philadelphia Story, comedy with Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn, dream cast, sophisticated comedy. Jimmy played reporter, charming, funny, perfect. Critics loved it, audiences loved it, studios loved it. Jimmy Stewart was now top tier, A-list, bankable star, could choose roles, could command salary, could have anything Hollywood offered. He was 32 years old. Peak of career, peak of fame, peak of success. February 1941, Academy Awards ceremony. Jimmy nominated again, this time for Philadelphia Story. Not underdog, not surprise, expected, deserved. Ceremony at Biltmore Hotel, Los Angeles. Hollywood elite gathered. Jimmy attended with father. Father came from Pennsylvania, saw son's success, saw Hollywood glamour, was uncomfortable but proud. They sat together, waited for Best Actor announcement. Ginger Rogers presented opened envelope. Read name, James Stewart. The Philadelphia Story, Jimmy won. Academy Award, Oscar, highest honor acting profession could give. He stood, walked to stage, accepted statue, gave speech, thanked people, thanked Capra, thanked studios, thanked family. Short speech, humble speech, classic Jimmy Stewart. No ego, no grandstanding, just genuine gratitude. Audience loved it, Hollywood loved him, America loved him. After ceremony, Jimmy gave Oscar to father. Told him to display it in hardware store window. Father was moved. Put Oscar in store window, back in Indiana, between hammers and nails, between work gloves and paint cans. Academy Award in hardware store. Small town America meets Hollywood glamour. Perfect symbol of Jimmy Stewart. Never forgot where he came from. Never pretended to be something else. Never stopped being hardware store owner's son. But success brought pressure. Studios wanted more films, more performances, more Jimmy Stewart charm. Contracts demanded work. Option renewals approaching. Career trajectory was clear. More romantic comedies, more everyman roles. More of same. Could make millions, could be biggest star, could own Hollywood. Path was obvious, future was set. All Jimmy had to do was keep doing what he was doing, keep playing same roles, keep being Jimmy Stewart's screen persona, easy, profitable, safe. But world was changing. Europe was burning. Hitler was conquering. France fell. Britain was fighting alone. America was still neutral, still isolated, still pretending war was not coming. But Jimmy Stewart was watching, reading, understanding. His father had served. Family tradition of service existed. Military values were instilled from childhood: duty, honor, country. These were not just words, were principles, were obligations, were part of who Jimmy Stewart was, beneath fame, beneath success, beneath Hollywood star, was man who believed service mattered. December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor, everything changed. America entered war. Millions would serve. Millions would fight. Question facing every man was same. Will you go? Can you avoid? What will you do? Hollywood had answers for stars, essential industry, morale boosting, could serve by making movies, by entertaining troops, by selling war bonds, could avoid combat, could stay safe, could keep career, could survive. Jimmy Stewart had choice, had way out, had excuse everyone would accept. He was 33, had dependents, had essential civilian role, could honorably avoid service, could legitimately stay in Hollywood, could keep making movies, keep making money, keep being star. But Jimmy Stewart did not take the easy path, did not choose safety, did not protect career. Instead, he made decision that shocked Hollywood, decision that risked everything, decision that would change him forever. He chose to serve, chose to fight, chose to put uniform before fame, before money, before everything. But military did not want him, said he was too old, too thin, too valuable in Hollywood, rejected him multiple times. Most men would have accepted rejection, would have said they tried, would have returned to movies with clear conscience. Jimmy Stewart was not most men. What he did next showed his real character, showed who he really was beneath movie star image, showed why he would become not just actor but hero, real hero, in real war, where bullets were real, where death was real, where courage meant something more than playing pretend on Hollywood set. Next episode. Why did Jimmy Stewart gain weight deliberately to trick military into accepting him? Why did he choose bombers when he could have done training films? Why did he risk Oscar-winning career to fly into Nazi fire? And what Hollywood never knew about the 20 missions that changed him forever?